Here is a fox, a musical fox, wound up and ready to play. But this fox can hide a secret inside. Can you guess what is in it today?
You take your little black pants off, boy.
He's a concrete fox.
No more love and flowers!
If you You go down to Hammond. You go down to Hammond. You'll never come back.
I remember Diddy David Hamilton saying to me one morning while we were sharing a post-coital cigarette, his coitus, not mine, I hasten to add. Foxy, he said to me, because that was what he used to call me, Foxy. Foxy, he said, sometimes you got to bang in there with your fist and get 'em up against the wall and take 'em roughly, and sometimes you have to move in like a butterfly kissing their eyelids. So there you go. He was arrested shortly afterwards, if I remember rightly, but nevertheless, sterling advice, and the butterflies kissing your eyelids in that particular instance were the roaches, and you are very, very welcome to No More Love and Flowers, issue number 5. Looking quite frisky today, if you don't mind me saying. Must be spring. Coming up in the next hour, we have tracks by Gentle Friendly, Sandie Shaw, David Crosby, Clarence Carter, etc., etc., as well as all the usual stuff. But for the time being, and just to make sure you're fully awake and you've had your breakfast and you're thinking clearly, I want you to find the tenuous connection between the previous track, the Roaches Hammond song, and the next track I'm going to play. You have 3 minutes and 1 second to work it out. Ready? Go. No, I'm not insulting your intelligence. I was just seeing if you were awake, that's all. Very easy. Of course, that was The Selector and the magnificent The Selector on Two Tone Records. And as we all know, the flip side of The Selector by Selector is Gangsters by The Specials, or The Special AKA, as they were known in those days. And it was Specials vocalist Terry Hall who went on to be in, first of all, Funboy 3, and then Colourfield, who recorded a cover version of the Roaches Hammond song for their first LP, Virgins and Philistines. If only everything in life was that simple. Colourfield's version of Hammond Song, thinking about it, could have been in last month's covers issue, but I didn't play it because, you know, love Terry Hall and all that, but it's not very good. It's not a patch on the original, which at a couple of moments, I think, notably some of the harmonies and the guitar solo, actually achieves brilliance. Lovely song. So, now we're all in and we're all awake, comfortably seated. To paraphrase Grace Jones, who's up for a bit of warm leverette?
This is the Dancing Monk, and I'm getting my face right into No More Love and Flowers.
You
bloody marvellous. First you heard the Leverett Sisters and A Place for Me on K-Den Records, a single which is exactly as old as me as it goes, although on balance I have to say that I think it's probably aged considerably better. A word of gentle guidance for the Leverett Sisters though. You might think you want to get away from the city and go where life is pretty, but don't, it's shit. Just because some blokes mugged you off, it's not a reason to go and live somewhere where anyone who opens a shop after 5 in the evening is suspected of Satanism. Word to the wise, girls. After that, you heard Gentle Friendly, creators of Ride Slow, one of my favourite albums of the last 10 years or so, although the track you just heard isn't on it, but rather from the equally excellent Night Tape EP from 2008 or 2008. If you prefer. I'm never quite sure how to refer to stuff that happened in the first decade of this century, you know. 2008 seems a bit long-winded. I'll refuse to drop the word and, because that way lies Donald Trump. 2008 sounds clunky, doesn't it? Like there's too many O's in the box. I'm always tempted towards 28, but that's just confusing, particularly since I'm really old and I keep forgetting we've changed century, so I write 19 in front of things. Anyway, I'm rambling. To recap, that was Gentle Friendly from 1928. You are about to hear a lovely song from a bloke who comes from my manor, as we say in my manor, and I will tell you more about it in 2.5 minutes.
Pull the apple carts up from Silbury Hill, higher until heaven reveal. On the adult dawn, respond to great authority, singing Alleluia, Alleluia. Love does reign in the kingdom of the broken heart. The blackbird sings and the moon is lost as war begins. Dance. Now burn the apple carts, burn them until a great fire begins to glow in the sky. There beneath the stones recharge from great austerity, raining down from above. Distant is love, our disdain in the kingdom of the broken heart. A blackbird sings and the sun it loves as war begins. Dance. Pull the apple carts high up on the hill, set the cause alight, the sea of glass is real. Cast the barley out into prevailing winds, where it lands and grows, the blackbird will sing.
Absolutely beautiful. That's a bloke who grew up about a mile away from me in distance and about 5 or 6 years in time, so perhaps the fact that I love him so much is something to do with shared experience. It definitely has something to do with the fact that I think he's one of this country's greatest living songwriters, no lie. A view for which I offer in support, as Exhibit A, as it were, the beautiful song you've just heard. And the song was Apple Carts from the opera Dr. D, and the writer and singer and guitarist, for that matter, was Damon Albarn, Leytonstone's second most famous son. OK, time now on No More Love and Flowers for our regular medical drama. Previously on Concrete Hospital, Courtney is in two minds about Dr. Octagon's proposal, while Mr. Jenkins has an unusual pollen-related problem with his arse.
You have ptomaine poisoning on your tongue. Say ah. You have bees flying around your rectum. You need a bad operation. Give me the scissors. Hammer. Flame. Okay. I'm getting ready to stab. Jam it in. Over. He's bleeding now. I can't stop the blood. More gauze pads, please hurry. Dr. Octagon, please come to the office. Come now. Oh, fuck. Patient just died in room 105. Cirrhosis of the eye. Nurse, come in, please, where are you? Fuck it, he's dead. Oh shit, there's a horse in the hospital. Dr. Octagon, paramedic fetus of the east with priest from the church of the operating room with the strikes of force, scalpel since the Holocaust. I do indeed and greed, explore, meet the patients, back to rooms with the nurse with the voodoo curse. Holding up office lights, standing at huge heights, back and forth, left wing, swing to north, east and south with blood pouring down your mouth. I come prepared with the white suit and stethoscope, listen to your heartbeat, delete, beep, beep, beep. Your insurance is high, but my price is cheap. Look at the land. Blue flowers, growing by the purple pond. See the polka dots. Blue flowers, growing by the purple pond. Yellow indigo. Blue flowers, growing by the pond. Look, it's raining yellow. Would you care to listen to any more? Thank you. Holding bags on down right from the hospital. It's a patient that's worth to keep the germs off the turf. Cybernetic microscopes and metal antidotes. 2 telescopes that magnifies eyes of a roach. 3 computers, a cup of coffee planted with my hand. And astral planet detached, turn on rare foggers. Cut the light on the kid and turn it bright on. Supersonic waves combined and burn his brain waves. I see the mascot of evil, he's not Knievel. Shakespeare's gone, don't even think about it. Yes, as I go into the park, I see blue flowers, it's raining green by the pond. Blue flowers, it's totally raining green and pouring. Blue flowers, I smell the bees and the birds. Blue flowers, different aspects of life. Blue flowers.
That in years. Really good to hear that again. Dr. Octagon, aka Cool Keith, of course, and Blue Flowers, Moax classic. Part of my soundtrack to my first visit to India, that was. Probably made it an even weirder experience than it already was in retrospect. Dr. Octagon, of course, claimed to come from Jupiter in the year 3000, something which gave him an air of individuality in North Staffordshire NHS Trust. This is not to mention being half man, half shark alligator. Something I always thought ought to be shalligator, like labradoodle. Quite possibly the automator on the decks there as well. Not sure. Sounded like the automator. Anyway, don't know about you, but after that slightly worrying medical scare, I need to relax. Shall we? I mean, should we? Oh, go on then.
A comfy chair.
Comfy chair?
Comfy chair. Comfy chair. Comfy chair. Comfy chair. Comfy chair. Comfy chair.
Oh, that feels good. Yep, Concrete's comfy chair is here to set you right, and it feels as good as those vibro chairs in the motorway service stations look. You get 5 minutes and some spare change in the seat this month, so you can light one of your extra long joss sticks and a particularly fat Debenham scented candle as you are gently massaged by David Crosby. I mean, you know, not literally, unless that's your thing.
I thought I met a man who said he knew a man who knew what was going on. I was mistaken. Only another that I this darkness. I was mistaken. Only reflections of a shadow that I saw.
I wish I could explain why I love that so much, but I don't really know. I like it that it's kind of punk, but with prog rock keyboards. Prunk, I'm going to call it. I don't really care what they call it. That's what I'm going to call it. That was the excellently named Justin Timberlake Improvement Society and Google. And before that you heard Laughing by David Crosby from the album If Only I Could Remember My Name. It's David Crosby. It's written up there next to where it says If Only I Could Remember My Name. Imbecile. Right, now the more observant among you will have noticed that we're about 35 minutes into this month's podcast, and consequently I am neglecting my duties, because the rump of the civilised world is crying out for random rotating non-specific competition win corner. Now, I'm never one to irritate a rump, so let's damn well do this. Our competition winner last month was Al Bridges, winning for a second time, which is very impressive. And hopefully by now the badges are approaching Spain, and this time not via the Bermuda Triangle like the CD he won in issue number 1. Al won his shiny new badges by correctly identifying the song we heard as If It's In You by Syd Barrett. Let's just remind ourselves of what that should have sounded like before Captain Wasp and his Apian entourage murdered it.
Yes, I'm thinking of this. Yes, I am. Paddletown Tom was the underground.
There it is. So well done, Al. Can he make it a hat trick this month? I kind of hope not, because a man can have too many badges. Having spares will only make him a target for the Spanish mafia, if indeed there is such a thing. Well, let's see who's the clever clogs among my 2, potentially 3 listeners this month. Nothing tricky about the rules, certainly. I'm going to play you a short clip of someone who's a bit of a hero of mine, talking about his hobbies. All you have to do is race down to the comments box and tell me who you think it is. That's not all you have to do to win badges, of course. To do that, you have to be right.
What I really like doing is going to the top of council flats and fucking so hard it sounds like elephants shitting.
There it is. That's all you get. If you think you know who that is, then let me know in the comments box and you could win shiny badges. Now, if I asked you what is the best Sandie Shaw single? Tricky question. For my money, it's this one.
As the wind blows through the trees, it sometimes seems to whisper, he is calling me. Then when the rain falls upon the ground, I often think that it's him following me. I don't stop to see if he's behind me. I just keep on going, he must never find me. He thinks I still belong to him, so I'm
excuse me, everyone. Thank you. I just wanted to say thanks so much for coming along and making the journey here to celebrate Great Aunt Brenda's 90th birthday. I know for some of you that the journey was quite a long one, so really, thank you. I know Brenda appreciates it. But what I really wanted to say was that while you're here marking Brenda's birthday, you're missing out on listening to No More Love and Flowers and... It's worth missing Aunt Brenda's 90th birthday for No More Love and Flowers with the Concrete Fox.
My engine pumping steam and I was grinding at you hard to fast. I was burning down the rail to heat the weight, hauling ass and riding up the track. And I laughed at the conductor who was telling me my coal would never last. When the fire in my boiler quit before I came, there ain't no empty cellar, need a gone damn train. Once was at a time when I could mama shave on dry and raise a few of an ice down ship. Waiting at the station with the heavy loaded sack, saving up and holding just a spit. Shooting a supply from my demon's eye, instead of waiting for time to hope I will. When the fire in my boil up and quit before I came, there ain't no empty cellar, need a gone dead train. Yeah, it's a gone dead train, got to help it to burn. You know it's a gone dead train, you got to teach it to learn. Daily runner downhill poor, and there ain't no easy day wishing for some jelly roll. There ain't no switch been made, let a juicy lemon find a spring to run a dry well for. And the fire in my boil up and quit before I came, there ain't no empty cellar, need a gone dead train. Yeah, it's a gone dead train, got to help it to burn. You know it's a gone dead train, you got to teach it to learn. You know it's a gone dead train, got to help it to burn. You know it's a gone dead train, you got to help it to learn. Baby, it's a gone dead train. It's a gone dead train.
Let's get the hell out of here.
They're walking down the road. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot.
Randy Newman and Gone Dead Train. And you can say what you like about Randy Newman, and I for one think that Family Guy appearance is pretty spot on the money. But that song is untouchable. Why? Because like the Stones track I played you in issue number 1, it's from the soundtrack of the film Performance, which is achingly early 70s and unbearably cliched, and also officially the best movie ever made. As a consequence, I can't listen to that Randy Newman track without a shiver down my spine, because I know what's going on. Before that, Run by Sandie Shaw, a song which it occurs to me was also very much of its time, couldn't really have been written nowadays, and it must seem strangely archaic to the Me Too generation. I'm pretty sure that using the whispering of the leaves in order to stalk your ex-girlfriend has become a criminal offence post-Weinstein, so her controlling ex wouldn't have had a leg to stand on, which, if you think about it, would have meant that she wouldn't have had to run anywhere, which would have meant no single, which is sad. Where am I going with this? I'm not really sure. Probably time I summoned the resident No More Love and Flowers butler. Moffat?
Yes, sir.
Ah, there you are, Moffat. Have we got the psychedelic spot lying around anywhere?
I'll just fetch it, sir.
Thanks, Moffat. Okay, this month's Psychedelic Spot comes from the 1970 album Think Pink by Twink. I'll illuminate you some more right after Moffat comes back with the correct disc from the vaults. In the meantime...
When you dare to enter the controversial world of LSD, you will embark on the most jolting journey of your life. On your trip, you will face a lovely sort of death as you experience the ecstasies,
Feel the warmth, the texture of excitement as it grows.
the agonies,
Know the aching pain of an old love's final dying, the frustration of a new love's insatiable demanding,
and the orgies with the psychedelic revolutionaries who turn on and go out of their skulls.
The wildest of pleasures possess you. Fingers of fear mercilessly rake you.
Well, I may have over-egged it a little there. I can't really promise you fingers of fear raking anything, or indeed any of that, particularly not the orgies. That's really not advisable at my age, not without the correct pills and some muslin. That's muslin, not Muslims. No, it is, at the end of the day, just a pop song, but it is a psychedelic pop song, which makes it ideal for the Psychedelic Spot and means I'm not at the mercy of the trade's descriptions. So, Twink. Now, Twink is a name you may have heard, particularly if you frequent a certain type of website, but the Twink I refer to is John Charles Edward Alder, drummer of 1960s bands Tomorrow and The Pretty Things. Now, Twink is one of those strange ethereal characters in music who is right there in the middle of almost everything that happened, worked with almost everyone you've ever heard of, and yet never became successful himself. His closest brush with fame was after the band Tomorrow split in 1967, I think it was, just as they were on the brink of fame, when singer Keith West was lured away by big bucks to record excerpt from a teenage opera, which I'm sure you know. Twink and the bass player exacted their revenge by releasing the single 10,000 Words in a Cardboard Box under the name The Aquarian Age. It became a hit and a bit of a psychedelic classic, and was in fact about departed frontman West, who used to scribble down lyrics and stuff them into a cardboard box which he carried around with him. Ah, Moffat, you're back. Thanks for that. You can have the rest of the afternoon off.
Thank you, sir.
So, this is Twink, and it is 10,000 Words in a Cardboard Box, but not the 1968 Aquarian Age hit version that you're probably familiar with. Rather, Twink's own version from his 1970 solo LP, which, like almost everything else in his career, you'll never have heard.
Colorful shadows dancing round
John Charles Edward Alder, better known, although not by much, as Twink, and 10,000 Words in a Cardboard Box. And we're going to be playing a kind of Where's Wally with Twink for the rest of the podcast. Like I said, he kind of gets everywhere, but without being seen. So let's see if you can spot the rascally little fella turning up again, hidden in any of the remaining tracks. I'll tell you what, if you see him anywhere, children, somebody press that big red button there that says Twink Alert on it, okay? Yeah, that's the one. I didn't say press it now, did I? Right, cracking on. You may not be familiar with this, but music law generally considers this to be one of the very first British punk singles, recorded as it was within months of the Damned's New Rose and the Sex Pistols' Anarchy in the UK. I think that earns it the right to an airing here on NMLAF. This is London-based band The Rings, on proto-punk label Chiswick Records, and I Want to Be Free.
Just walking in my brown shoes. I'm knocking on your door, just knocking on your door. I want a society where a man can be free to be who he wants to be and to see who he wants to see. If this ain't the solution, I'm sick of this prostitution of you and me. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be
Music sounded like that. When you get home tonight, kids, why not ask your granddad about Generation X? It'll make him feel included for a few minutes, until he tries to do a Billy Idol sneer and his teeth fall out. The Rings, and I Want to Be Free, not to be confused with the truly awful Toya single of the same name from a few years later, which was less punk and more Italia Conti petulance with a Mohican. The Rings consisted of a bloke from Steve Marriott's All-Stars, two blokes who went on to be in the adverts, and a singer called, oh my god! There he is! I see him! Yes, the singer there being none other than John Charles Edward Alder. Twink, hiding in plain sight, as they would inevitably say on Doctor Who. Told you he was cheeky. Right then, kids, who's up for a bit of wing-ding doodle?
I'm all alone and fancy free. Oh, but this ain't the way I wanna be.
Got a brand new pinstripe suit of clothes, big wide polka dot tie. Cufflinks thick as jaybird eggs. And look at this. Shoes made out of alligator hide. I'm gonna say something else here. I'm ripe and ready and hot to try. Girl, and you can get anything I got. I got the money, girl, if you got the time. All you got to do now is give me the sign. Look here, I'm looking for a box. I'm looking for a box. Looking for a box. I'm looking for a box. Love me. I'm looking for a box. Groove me. I'm looking for a box. That's out of sight. Help me now when I say ooh. I'm looking for a box. Help me again. Say ooh.
That was Clarence Carter in his Sunday best, and he was looking for a fox, so he's come to the right place. He's a little late, however, as it's nearly time for the parting of the ways here on NMLAF. Just going to squeeze in 2 more tracks, though, before we have the depressing job of going around emptying all the ashtrays and mopping up the stains. What do you say before you get your coat? Let's have one last boogie. Come on, you're drunk enough. If you want to kick your shoes off and prat about waving your arms like a madman, just do it.
Do it!
I cannot tell a lie. That was the boy Twink again from 1977, and Do It, a single that I really rather like, completing a sneaky Twink triple. Sounds like a cocktail, which I hope you enjoyed. That's sadly it for this month's No More Love and Flowers. Thank you very much for coming. Please assemble again for next month's NMLAF, in which my special guest is Kim Jong-un. He just popped into the studio last week on his World Glad Handing tour, and we had a great old time, holding hands, standing in the doorway of my bedroom, walking over it in one direction, then back again in the other direction. What a guy. Remarkably easy to please. No More Love and Flowers is a Concrete Fox production for Who Wants Muffins Incorporated, with special thanks this month to Dave Hopkins, not to mention Moffat the butler, and I'm going to play you out with something else from 1977. Good night. I can't believe that this is the first time I'm saying this in 5 podcasts, but this is Ultravox. See you next month.
My sex waits for me like a mongrel waits downwind on a tightrope leash. My sex is a fragile acrobat. Sometimes I'm an Novocaine shot, sometimes I'm an automat. My sex is often solo, sometimes it short circuits then, sometimes it's a golden glow. My sex is invested in suburban photographs, skyscraper shadows on our car crash overpass. Savage, tender, it wears no future faces, owns just random gender. My sex has a wanting wardrobe I still explore, of all the bodies I knew and those I want to know. My sex is a spark of electro flesh, leased from the tick of time and geared for synchro mesh. My sex is an image lost in faded films, a neon outline on a high-rise overspill. My sex.
I'll just fetch it, sir.